Hey, this is Chris Ann at Sew Easy Sewing in Roswell, New Mexico with some tips for the long arm quilters. Tip number 1. When you put your batting on at the beginning, tuck it up under just a little bit so it'll hold it flat so you can do your channel lock and it won't bunch up your fabric. It'll just stay nice and flat and smooth because it's tucked up underneath your backing. Tip number 2, when the machine is sewing in computerized mode, don't lean on the front bar. If you notice, as I lean down on it, it changes the position of the quilt, even just a little bit, so that it'll throw your pattern off and you won't be able to line things up perfectly, or the center of your quilt may look a little off. Tip number 3. When you change your needle, because it doesn't have a flat, it's very easy to put the needle in at a slight angle. So when you change your needle, tighten your screw, make sure you stick a flat flower pin into the needle, and you can see if it's kind of at an angle or if it's straight. If the pin moves back and forth slightly but stays right in the center, then you're straight. If it kind of points off to the side one way or the other, loosen your screw a little bit and use the pin to turn the needle so that it's straight, and then while you're holding it there, tighten your screw and double check it. Tip number 4. Use the vertical channel lock and follow your seam. Now this is a cheater quilt, so it doesn't technically have a seam, it's a digital print, but you're going to put the channel lock on and you're going to follow the foot down and make sure that it's completely straight. And then you can go ahead and put in your basting stitches. And this would be tip number 5, we'll bundle them together, would be float your quilt top. Now mine's a little mussed because I was checking the side and I haven't put the clips back on, but I use quilt clips. The only thing I pin is the backing to the backing rail and to the take-up rail and to the backing rail, and I float my batting and I float my quilt top, and that way I can adjust as necessary as I go. I can lift it up, straighten it out, move any bubbles out of my batting, etc. And I get much straighter finished edges this way because I'm not stuck with it pinned, because for some reason I'm a terrible pinner and I end up with everything pinned at a slight angle. So then I end up with stuff quilted on one side and not on the other, and I have to try to mess with my pattern. So floating with these wonderful quilt clips and checking my straight edges with the vertical lock makes a big difference. I hope you found these tips useful. Give us a like and some comments if you have any feedback for us. Thank you so much, and happy sewing. Need to do a blooper reel. Tip number 3, when you change your needle, use a flat flower straight pin and make sure it's straight. This one looks a little crooked. I hope you found these tips useful.